Joining us now from Sochi is Jim Ryan, an ABC News correspondent who is absolutely clear-eyed this morning in his reporting of all things having to do with the Olympics. Good morning to you, Jim.
Good morning. Yeah, he's got the pink eye. It's you got to feel bad for the guy. Matt Lauer sat in for him last night. Probably will again tonight.
I mean, what I hate is he's got a long streak going there of having been involved in every single day of Olympic reporting for decades. And
26 years is the first time we're seeing the Olympics without Bob Costas. But hey, come on, he was making people sick.
Yeah, let's be honest, it was gross to look at.
It was really gross.
All right, I'll tell you what else was not pleasant to look at. That was Shaun White's performance yesterday in the half pipe.
Man, he held off. He didn't take part in the slopestyle event. He said, I'm going to save myself for the half pipe. He had hurt his wrist, of course. And so, he strapped on the board last night, the 27 went down. Then, of course, he tried this trick called the YOLO, which was invented by a Russian-born guy who was competing for the Swiss named Yuri Podlachikov, or they call him iPod. Right? He tried it. Shaun White just couldn't stick it. He kind of fell on his first run. He couldn't make up for lost ground in his second run, although he did pretty well. He finished out fourth. Podlachikov, iPod, is the one who actually won. He completed that YOLO trick perfectly.
But hold on a minute. I've heard that the conditions on the half pipe were not good. Is that true?
Yeah, in fact, if you were watching it last night, you kind of saw the boards just grumbling along as they went down that pipe, kind of rocky and bumpy as they were doing their tricks out there. So, no, it can't have been really great conditions. The manager of the park up there has said that they've tried to maintain it. They've tried to put salt and water and different chemicals out there to raise the temperature of the melting of the ice there, but it just wasn't good.
Can I just say that we have now reached the point in international sports where we are talking about a YOLO invented by iPod. That is pretty impressive. By the way, YOLO is not some bizarre Russian term. That is internet short abbreviated talk for you only live once. Right. So that's pretty cool.
I've ridden a YOLO board before.
Have you? Yeah. We'll have to talk about that later. Hey, Jim, talk to me about hockey. It's finally starting today. In fact, the games have already begun over there?
The women's games have begun, and they'll continue today with the women facing Canada. Tomorrow, the men take to the ice.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Okay.
Some preliminary rounds tomorrow. USA versus Slovakia comes in the morning. But in terms of the women, they'll be facing Canada this afternoon. I think about 7:40 this morning your time, but you won't get to watch it until tonight.
Okay. And when I said hockey, I meant men's hockey. I should have specified, and I apologize for that. What about the women's downhill? That is starting today as well, is it not?
Well, it started and it's over. Do you want to hear the result or not?
Brian, you don't like to hear results, right?
I don't care.
So go ahead and put your fingers in here.
I'll put his fingers in here.
All right. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, unfortunately, Stacey Cook and Julia Mancuso both were knocked out of the contention in the women's downhill. Results, a Swiss and a Slovenian skier both came in with times of 1 minute, 41.57 seconds. So they will share gold medals. They will have 2 gold medals. There's no silver. The bronze goes to somebody else, and both Mancuso and Cook are left without medals in that round.
Oh, too bad for Mancuso.
Yeah,
and then,
but she'll have more.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I can take my fingers out of my ears.
Brian, come back from the corner there. All right. And then what about pairs figure skating? Always a very popular one, and that's starting as well today?
Yeah, it's going to begin this evening, too, and that's one certainly that a lot of Americans will be watching today. And, pairs figure skating comes tonight, then they'll have finals later.
All right, I want my daily curling update.
Curling is still going on. The teams, let's see, what did I hear about? The men's curling team did okay. They're continuing on with this, and again, this is something that goes on and on and on day after day. Curling the women's round
robin. It's like watching paint dry.
Curling rocks. And the men's curling team, by the way, beat Denmark, which is a huge win. Because Denmark, curling in Denmark, that's like baseball over there. They love their curling in Denmark.
It's an interesting sport to watch, and you're right, boy. If you're not into it, you're not into it. But if you love it, you really do.
And have you seen the Norwegian curling team? And it's so obvious they are on the juice. I want drug tests on those guys.
Oh, my gosh.
All right. And then moving on, where do we stand on the medal count right now? Is Norway still leading the way?
Yeah, quite handily. They're still way out in front of everybody else right now. Total medals of 11. Canada has 9 right now. That's the United States. We have 7, so we're in 4th place, 8 for the Netherlands. So yeah, we're still down there. We didn't do so well yesterday, but we're completely shut out of the medal count either, because Devin Logan won the bronze in slopestyle skiing.
All right, so what's the weather situation? Because, when we were talking to you yesterday, it was like in the 50s and 60s, and of course, that's not conducive to winter sports. Where are we now?
Well, up on the mountain, it's 46 degrees. That's not good.
That's not good.
They say that they still haven't had to bring in reserve snow from farther up in the mountain that they've been saving up for a few years. And if they do, that snow is going to be really old, but, snow is snow, I suppose. 46 degrees up on the mountain. It's warmer down here on the coast.
All right, and then finally, Shawnee Davis, speed skater. He is also one of the big stars of this Olympics, going for his third-time gold medal. How's it looking for him?
It looks as good as anybody else right now. He's going to take part in the 1,000-meter final in the long track speed skating, and that is his event. He competed earlier in the 500, didn't do so well, but yes, the 1,000 is the time to watch Shawnee Davis of Chicago.
And that's today?
Yes, that's going to happen this afternoon.
Cool. All right. And really quick, I just wanted to let all of our WMAL listeners know in terms of men's hockey, not only is the U.S. team beginning their rounds tomorrow, but also the Russian team. Here in Washington, Jim, we've got Ovi is our big Washington Capitals hockey player, Ovechkin, and he's playing for the Russian team. So we're sort of following them as well.
Yeah, I mean, allegiance is allegiance, I suppose. And these guys go off and they play for their home countries, but some are just playing because it's convenient to play for a different country. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I wanted to ask you that. I heard about this guy who's from Boston who made a huge donation to the country of Dominica, and because of that, they granted him citizenship, and he is the sole member of the Dominica downhill. I mean, is that okay to just buy your way into the Olympics?
It happens, I suppose. Ethically or not, it does happen.
All right. Well, I guess we could look for Donald Trump being part of the winter team for El Salvador next time.
Put him on a luge. It's luging for El Salvador.
All right. And finally, we know you've got a lot of radio hits. We got to ask you about the food. Did you have your borscht, and what other Russian food cuisine updates can you give us?
Yeah, I did the other night. It was absolutely fantastic. It was really, really good. People tell me there are kind of two different kinds. One is sort of watery and pink. The other one is thick and full of vegetables. I had the latter kind, and it was absolutely marvelous. Other than that, kind of beef medallions with some mushrooms on it. That was really good too.
Jim Ryan, liking the borscht, and is it? Are they jacking up all the prices there in Sochi because they know these American journalists will just put it on the expense account?
I tell you, I don't know what the prices were before I got here, but I know that they're awfully steep now. I paid $5 for a little 4-ounce cup of Americano coffee a short time ago.
Wow. We're sure that the executives at ABC News will not think twice to reimburse you for that, Jim Ryan.
All right, Jim, thank you very much.
Have a good day in Sochi.
Greatly appreciated.